My view is simple. I believe that the underfunding of the agency is the most critical challenge facing the IRS today. And the serious ramifications of 5 years of budget cuts are becoming increasingly visible and will worsen if action isn't taken soon. This is not just about the agency. It's about the entire tax system. We're coming to the point where the significant reductions already taking place in the IRS budget are degrading the agency's ability to continue to deliver on its mission, both during the filing season and beyond. I'm sure most of the people in this room know how critical our situation is, but in case you're just back from a few months in Antarctica or missed this morning's Washington Post or the release this afternoon of the story from Bloomberg, I'll recap it for you. The IRS budget level, as Ted noted, for fiscal year 2015 of $10.9 billion is $1.2 billion less than it was 5 years ago. The IRS is now at its lowest level of funding since 2008. If you adjust for inflation, our budget is now comparable to where we were in 1998. While our budget has been shrinking, however, the taxpayer base has grown by millions. We've also taken on many new responsibilities, such as implementation of the Foreign Account Tax Compliance Act and the tax-related provisions of the Affordable Care Act. Since 75% of the IRS budget, more or less, is personnel, the agency has been absorbing the budget reductions mainly by shrinking our workforce. As a result, we ended fiscal 2014 with more than 13,000 fewer permanent full-time employees compared with 2010. We expect to lose another 3,000 more or less through attrition by the end of this year. You might think that shrinking an agency would force it to do more with less. That may have been true for us in the early going, and we have heard the comments on the Hill and elsewhere that our funding is deliberately lowered to make sure we think twice about spending. The IRS does need to be as efficient as possible and be careful stewards of funding that we receive from taxpayers. We now save over $200 million a year as a result of non-labor cost savings put in place over the last few years. But after 5 years of budget cuts and a hiring freeze that has lasted for 4 years, people need to understand that the IRS is going to have to do less with less. It means that both enforcement and taxpayer service will suffer.